Hello and welcome to this week's Weekly Reading Wednesday. I'm Emma Turton. I'm a medical intuitive, and what I want to speak to you about today has been coming through me very strongly from all different directions is the immune system. So our immune system is bringing through some very powerful messages for us today. And I want to talk first of all about the science of the immune system and bring in some of the conventional background of the immune system and the conventional understanding of the immune system, because my background is scientific. But I want to start this video by saying that our immune system and my understanding of it is one of the very many places, but one of the very powerful places where I deviate from my conventional training very strongly, and that I don't believe the same things as other health professionals about our immune system. My beliefs are very different here, and I will share those with you today. And those beliefs come from experience. They come from my experience with my clients, and my own connection and my own intuitive guidance. So first of all, I want to describe the immune system in the way most of us understand it, because that is how we often come to this work. And so our immune system is conventionally described as that combination of different systems and tissues in our body and fluids in our body that are responsible for activating our body's immune defense system, our immune response, our defense, our defensive army. And so this includes a whole pile of different structures and tissues and organs in our body, including our skin, our mucous membranes, our sweat, our saliva, our tears, our stomach acid, specific immune cells, antibodies, interferon. Even our blood is a part of our immune system, and our lymphatic system is very closely linked to our immune system, and it plays a very important role. So our lymphatic system includes all of our lymph nodes, lymph ducts, lymph glands, all of the lymphatic tissues and organs throughout our body, including things like our tonsils and our spleen and our thymus gland. So these are all a part of our immune system. And so they play very important roles, and they're all over our body, all parts of our body. I mean, our skin is literally all over our body, but all parts of our body are a part of this immune response. And so what is its function? Its function is to be in charge of repair of any old or damaged cells, to be in charge of recognizing and destroying any foreign organisms or viruses, to be a barrier to any kind of attack from the outside. Again, this is the conventional understanding of our immune system, and this is one of the places I differ, and I'll speak about that in a moment. And it is also in charge of our inflammatory response to anything in our body. So any kind of inflammation comes from our immune system. It has a chemically mediated response, so we have certain chemicals that are released like histamine in our body that actually tell our body how to react or initiate certain responses in us as part of our immune system. We also have that antibody mediated response, where our antibodies will come in and program and communicate with the rest of our body how to respond when certain organisms come into our system. And our blood groups are also a part of our immune system and our immune response. That's a part of the function of our immune system. So our immune system has always been conventionally described as a defensive system, and this is where I disagree. I do not think that we are separate from the world around us. I do not think that we are under attack from the world around us. I do not feel that our body is ever working against us. And that is one of my golden rules of the work that I do. That is, our body is always supporting us. Your body is always supporting you. So when it comes to describing something as an autoimmune condition, where it is seen that our immune system is actually attacking ourselves, so working against us and breaking us down, I disagree that this is the right term for this, because our body is never working against us. It's very, very, very rare that our immune system is actually trying to take us down without some kind of stimulus that it's actually trying to support us with. So I want to really bring that point home to you today, that your body is always supporting you. Your immune system is always supporting you. But how do I see the immune system? When I really tune into the immune system and really focus in on how it feels to me, it's not a defensive army at all. It's a welcoming committee. And so your body is at all angles, all sides of your body, and all of the fluids and tissues and organs that are responsible for your immune system are a welcoming committee to the outside world. What they do is they say hello, and they say, come on in, or hey, you're not in the right place. So different cells, whether viruses, bacteria, fungus, all different kinds of organisms that can come into contact with our bodies. They may come in through a variety of different ways, whether it be through our skin, through touch, through inhaling, through saliva contact, through even through our tear ducts or open wounds in our body. So we have things come into our system, and our immune system is there as that welcoming committee to go, hey, okay, you're interesting. Where do you belong? You don't belong in here. Actually, there's a whole party of you guys down the back. Why don't you go down there? We'll just surround you and we'll escort you quite lovingly and show you where the punch bowl is, and you can go hang out with your mates down where you're supposed to be. That's what our immune system does. It's very, very clever. It has the specific cells that can surround other cells. It can recognize them, can see who they are, where they belong, and why they are in the wrong place. And it can actually cushion their impact on the body around them, and it can take them to where they actually belong and where they actually serve a function. And if it has no way of dealing with that, it can actually take them apart and make them into new cells and make them into new parts for your body that actually do support you. So it's not so much that defensive army attacking, it is a welcoming committee, and it is that recognition of the self in others that we actually do through our immune system. So when I say that, what that is that law of mentalism, that all is one, that you are an aspect of me and I am an aspect of you, that we are all mirroring each other. We are mirroring the internal world of each other. And our immune system is a very strong part of this. So it recognizes the parts it can use that serve us in any cell or foreign body that comes into our system, comes into our ecosystem that is our human body. And it can decide where to send that so that it can be of service to us. And if it can't be of service to us, it finds a way to either disassemble it or excrete it from the body. And so when we go into these massive immune responses to things, and I've had a couple of clients recently saying, look, my immune system is really struggling right now. What can I do? What does it mean that my immune system is struggling? Why am I catching everything that's going past? I'm really tired, I'm run down, and I don't know what to do about it. And it doesn't take very much digging to find out that often in this case, we are pushing ourselves and pushing ourselves and pushing ourselves and not listening to our own inner guidance. So our immune system is doing its best, but we are feeling under attack and overwhelmed and 100% disconnected from our own tribe and from our own purpose. And so the immune response, those immune issues are very much to do with our tribal connection, because they are through all of the literature. If any of you have looked at any medical intuitive literature, of course, it's all about the first chakra. It's all about our root chakra. One of the reasons I'm wearing red today, celebrating chakra 1. But that is our tribal connection. And of course, immune responses are tribal because we catch things from each other. It's all about our connection to our tribe and how much exposure we have to their blood, sweat and tears, that we are able to catch things from them. But do we really catch them? Are we actually vulnerable in that way? Are we actually able to be immune to viruses and illnesses around us? Yes, we are. If we stay energetically strong, we are able to come in contact with very sick people and not catch what they have, regardless of whether we have the antibodies and the normal, what we class as an immunity to those conditions. So the way we do that is by keeping ourselves energetically very strong, and particularly in that root chakra, particularly in that connection to the earth, connection to each other, that connection to our family, to our tribe, and that connection to our inner sense of self. And so I can talk more about the ways that we can improve our immune system for sure, but it is very much that question of where am I seeing myself as separate from those around me? Where am I seeing myself as different and alone and at odds with the world around me? Because when I see myself as separate and different and at odds with those around me, I see myself as cut off from the tribe and unsafe. And when I feel unsafe, I feel under attack. When I greet that world with an army that is defensive, Of course they're attacking me. If you have people come to your front door and you greet them with a sword and start waving it at them and say, I'm going to get you first, then of course they're going to go on the defensive and attack you, because that's what we do. That's human nature. If you greet them with a drink or a warm cuppa and a blankie and say, come on inside, let's figure out where you belong. You don't belong here, but hey, maybe we put you on the back balcony and you'll be perfect out there. Then they will be warm, welcoming, easy to deliver, easy to move through your house, and easy to throw out the other side if that's where they're supposed to go, or easy to stay if that's what they're supposed to do. And our immune system is no different. So if we are attacking, if we think that we are under attack from the viruses and illnesses around us, perfect example, if you go on a flight and you hear everyone coughing and sneezing and snotting and being horrendously sick all around you, and you sit there thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get so sick. Everyone's just spreading germs. I feel like I'm breathing nothing but germs in. I wish they'd stay away from me. That is that perfect example of the feeling of separation, where you are separate from those around you, that you are not experiencing with them their pain and their suffering, that you have no compassion for them in that moment. All you are thinking about is that you don't have time to get sick right now because you've got too much to do and you don't want to be experiencing what they're experiencing because they're separate to you. And so as soon as we do that, we lower our vibration, we create holes in that first chakra, that root chakra, we create energetic vulnerability to getting sick. And that dramatically lowers our immune system instantaneously. In our heartbeat, yes, you will get sick because that is what you've done. Energetically, you've damaged your own immune system. You've made yourself vulnerable. And that's because you see yourself as vulnerable. You see yourself as separate and alone and vulnerable to the attack of others and their germs that are going to attack you. And so if we see it from a different perspective, if we sit there and powerfully tune in and root into our own connection to all of those around us, root into our own connection to all that there is, to the earth, if we sit perhaps in meditation, which is one of the times I love to meditate, is when I'm flying, even with my children. Yes, it's possible. So we can root into our own energy and our own connection down into our lower chakras, and we can actually sit there and build our own energy. And we can, to the point that we're sharing it with all those around us, that we're surrounding them and showering them in this beautiful, warm glow of health, radiance, and strength, and compassion and connection to each other, because it's a shared experience. We've all been there. We've all shared those symptoms. We've all shared how difficult and painful it can be to fly when we're sick. So to actually root into that and know that you can be of service to those people because they are an aspect of you. It's a shared human experience. And to have that compassion for them. And in doing so, that raises your vibration dramatically. It raises your energetic strength. It raises your ability to sit in germs and not get sick, because it's only when we are energetically vulnerable that we become physically vulnerable. We are not physically vulnerable if we're not energetically vulnerable. And yes, we can do all the right things and we can try, but if we are pushing ourselves and not sleeping and not honoring our food needs and not honoring our need for rest, or time away from alcohol, or time away from people that we find hard work or are energetically draining, then yes, we're going to be more physically vulnerable no matter what kinds of meditation we're doing. So we cannot take up that slack simply by doing your 10-minute meditation a day. 10 minutes of meditation a day is fantastic, absolutely, and it will take you, it will create time in your day, and it will give you so much in so many different ways. However, it cannot take up the slack for all of the other ways you're letting yourself down energetically and stop you from becoming vulnerable. So if you want to remain almost impervious to viral issues and colds, flus, any kind of illness that's passed on through our usual immune methods, then what I invite you to do is to root into those lower chakras. Find out where that connection is for you with those around you. Really start to grow your own tribe. Start to see yourself as being, in a way, similar, and actually see that compassion with others and really connect in with their human experience and know that you've had that experience too, because in that is a shared power and a shared service. You will also be built up from that experience and from that compassion and from that connection with others. So our immune system is not the defensive army that we see it as. And when we see it as a defensive army, we create attacking points from all around us. So I invite you today, and your immune system is begging you to see it as the welcoming committee that it is. It's actually just organizing the parties. It's all it's doing. And yes, you may end up with bacteria in one place and it should be somewhere else. But you know what? It can actually be guided there. It can be taken there without causing you any problems in your system. Even down to things like parasites and viruses. They can be moved through to where they're supposed to go. If we are not energetically vulnerable, they don't take root in our bodies. So I invite you to find where you are allowing yourself to be feeling separate and vulnerable and under attack and overwhelmed. And these are the places that are weakening your immune system. Start to explore where you are connected, where you are strong, where you are standing in your own power and not in an attacking or defensive way, but simply in a, it's my party and you know what, you're all welcome kind of way. Start to see where that strength lies in you and start to explore those connections, because the more you explore that, the stronger your immune system will become and the more you will be able to serve others, because those people who work in hospitals know that it is very hard to serve others when your immune system is constantly suffering under the attack of others and their germs. When we see them as other and their germs, that's actually the problem. So I invite you to see things a little differently. See through my eyes for this week and start to check out your immune system as not that defensive army, as that welcoming committee, and see how this relates to everything else. All our body is trying to do at all turns is to support us. It's trying to make us go along our journey towards our awakening, towards a higher awakening, a higher consciousness. That's all that it is doing. It is supporting us at every turn. And if your immune system is really struggling this week and you are actually sick this week, there are a lot of people with the change of seasons that are suffering from flus, head colds, gastro, a whole pile of horrible experiences, which we have all had. I feel for you. But your body is actually asking you to stop and take rest, to drink water, to nurture yourself, to leave work as long as you can and just tune in to you and your needs and to rest and recuperate. When it actually comes down to that point and we have no choice but to stop and rest, by all means, stop and rest. Do what your body needs you to do. Because when we push, we end up in that constant cycle of illness, or we end up with something much worse because we haven't taken the lesson when we were offered it the first time. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I hope that you are well and healthy and enjoying your life. Thanks for joining me.